My family was the sovereign, and we, as a family, don't own this place. It doesn't belong, and it's not as if we're making money out of it. And this is what annoys me so much that's written in the media.
The crown was never supposed to change hands this quickly, but what just happened inside Buckingham Palace has the whole world talking. For months, King Charles has been battling cancer. It all started during a routine prostate procedure, but the doctors found something more serious. Since then, he's been in and out of treatment, scaling back public duties and canceling appearances. People close to the palace say he's been struggling with fatigue, side effects from the medication, and the emotional weight of it all. While the king has been fighting behind the scenes, Prince William is quietly stepping up. He's taken on more royal responsibilities, attending high-level events, making public statements, and representing the monarchy in a way that feels intentional. He's even traveled solo to lead charity work that was once handled by his father. Behind closed doors, there's been growing talk. Advisors, senior staff, even some royals are preparing for what many believe is a passing of the torch. And with Kate Middleton also recovering from her own health battle, the pressure on William has never been greater. So what happened behind those palace walls? Was William pushed forward or pulled in by something bigger? And did he really steal the crown, or was it handed to him by fate? Let's find out.
Some people will see advantage in keeping the existing system. Others will see advantages in changing it. All I think is that this debate, if it's allowed to take place in the right way, and if it isn't just put across in a rather biased way by certain sections of the media, then some people may begin to discover actually a lot of hidden advantages and hidden aspects of the existing system which are taken for granted but are not realized at the moment.
King Charles has always carried the weight of the crown with pride, but ever since his cancer diagnosis, that weight has become harder to bear. The palace first revealed the news shortly after he underwent a routine procedure for an enlarged prostate. What doctors found during that treatment led to a more serious discovery, an undisclosed form of cancer. Since then, his schedule has changed dramatically. The king has canceled events and scaled back on public appearances. He's no longer the steady figure always present at ceremonies, charity events, or diplomatic meetings. Behind the palace gates, he's been undergoing regular treatments, and those close to him say the side effects have taken a toll. Fatigue, emotional strain, and the physical impact of cancer therapy have left Charles visibly different. Royal watchers were quick to pick up on the change. His smile began to fade. The familiar confidence he showed in public was replaced with a more cautious, sometimes distant presence. There were moments during appearances when he seemed distracted or simply too tired to engage. For a man who waited his entire life to become king, the timing couldn't have been more cruel. And as the public's concern grew louder, the pressure inside the palace was rising. The question no one wanted to ask was now being whispered across the UK. What if the king can't continue? But just as the nation prayed for recovery, someone else was quietly stepping up. Prince William.
I won't go on all night long. As my grandmother said when she was crowned, coronations are a declaration of our hopes for the future. And I know she's up there, fondly keeping an eye on us, and she'll be a very proud mother.
The Prince of Wales has always been groomed to take over someday, but that someday suddenly felt much closer. While his father focused on recovery, William started taking on more than symbolic duties. He began meeting with world leaders, hosting royal events, and appearing at major public engagements with the kind of confidence expected from a monarch, not just an heir. When the king missed official events, it was often William who stood in. Whether it was charity work, memorials, or high-level discussions, William wasn't just filling a gap, he was being positioned as the face of the monarchy. He didn't make grand speeches about his new role. He didn't need to. His actions said enough. One of the major signs came when he traveled solo for several royal engagements abroad. Normally, such duties would be handled by the reigning monarch or shared with senior royals, but William handled it all. Royal commentators began pointing out how he carried the weight of leadership, and while William was moving into the spotlight, the public began to rally behind him. Approval ratings climbed. His composed, modern style made him relatable. Unlike past generations, William brings a different energy, one that reflects the times. He's traditional enough to respect royal customs, but progressive enough to connect with younger generations. Inside the palace, that shift was impossible to ignore. Advisors who once focused on King Charles's long reign were now preparing for what looked like an earlier than expected transition. William wasn't just the Prince of Wales anymore, he was starting to lead, and what followed next changed everything.
It was the Romans who gave Britons the idea of putting a king's head on coins. So I'm especially grateful to them.
The news came quietly, but its impact was loud across the world. King Charles made a decision no monarch takes lightly. He announced he would step back from full-time royal duties. Not a full abdication, but a step that signaled just how serious his health issues had become. Sources close to the palace say this wasn't a simple decision. In a private meeting with senior royals, King Charles reportedly became emotional. He had always seen the throne as a calling, not just a role, but cancer, ongoing treatments, and the toll on his body forced him to choose between duty and survival. And for the first time, he put himself first. Behind palace doors, it wasn't just a political moment, it was a personal one. Family members were said to be supportive, but clearly shaken. The king was now stepping aside just over a year into his reign. The British public responded with a mix of sadness, concern, and support. For some folks, it was a reminder of how quickly things can change. For others, it was a necessary move. Many saw the king's decision as brave, a man putting his health and family before protocol. But there was also uncertainty. Who would take the lead now? Was the country ready for a new figurehead so soon after losing Queen Elizabeth? And with that, all eyes turned to Prince William. He didn't make a grand announcement or claim the spotlight, but almost instantly the shift was clear. William began attending state events without his father. He met with political leaders, hosted foreign dignitaries, and stood front and center during royal ceremonies. Quietly, consistently, he was taking on the duties of a monarch, even if the crown hadn't officially changed hands. But this wasn't just about doing more. Prince William brought with him a different kind of leadership, one that felt less formal and more human. He took time to engage with everyday people, often skipping strict protocols to connect on a personal level. He spoke about mental health, climate change, and the changing role of the monarchy in modern Britain. This shift didn't go unnoticed. Polls began to reflect a sharp rise in public confidence. More and more people said they believed William was the right person to lead the monarchy into a new era. His popularity soared, especially among younger generations who saw in him a relatable, grounded future king. But inside the palace, not everyone welcomed the fast changes. Some traditionalists were uneasy. For them, the crown wasn't something to be shared or handed off quietly. It was sacred and it had rules. They feared the monarchy was moving too fast too soon, especially while King Charles was still alive and technically reigning. Despite that, the momentum around William kept building. He continued to take on bigger roles, make more public statements, and shape how the royal family interacted with the public. And while William gains power on the outside, on the inside, the royal family is undergoing its biggest shift since the Queen's passing.
The difficulty I have is that I can't delegate myself off in different directions. If there was more of me, I could send one of me to Australia, and another one to wherever else it is, to try and do all the things that I would love to be able to do.
Behind the royal ceremonies and public appearances, there's a family facing some of its toughest private battles. As King Charles steps back, the question of unity inside the palace becomes more important than ever. At the heart of this moment is Princess Catherine. She's been battling her own serious health issues while staying mostly out of the spotlight, but her presence hasn't gone unnoticed. Despite undergoing treatment, she's been quietly supporting Prince William, caring for their 3 children, and maintaining a calm, composed image. For many, she's the symbol of quiet strength, balancing motherhood, personal recovery, and royal responsibility all at once. While Catherine stands beside William, another part of the family remains distant. Prince Harry. Still living in the US and rarely seen at royal events, Harry's strained relationship with the family has shown no signs of real healing. William, now carrying more of the crown's weight, hasn't had the time to mend that divide. Sources close to the family say the brothers are barely speaking. It's a silence that speaks volumes, especially now that the royal line of duty is being reshaped. Then there's Queen Camilla. As Charles's wife, she's been by his side through hospital visits, treatments, and now his reduced role. But her position is shifting too. While she continues to fulfill her public duties, insiders say she's preparing for a new reality, one where Prince William becomes the main face of the monarchy. Camilla is said to be supportive of the transition, even if it's happening sooner than anyone expected. Still, with so many moving parts, the world is asking, is this truly the end of King Charles's reign, or is William simply holding the seat warm? That's where royal rules get interesting. Technically, King Charles is still the monarch. No abdication has been announced, and he remains the official head of state. But by stepping back from full-time duties, a path opens for what's known as a regency, a setup where someone else carries out the monarch's responsibilities without actually becoming king. If Charles's health continues to prevent him from serving, Prince William could be named regent, giving him full powers to act in the king's name. But there's also the real possibility of a full transition. If King Charles formally steps down, the crown would pass directly to William right now. Buckingham Palace hasn't confirmed either path, but in practice, William is already doing the job. He's making decisions, showing up in place of his father, and becoming the face of the monarchy at home and abroad. He might not be crowned yet, but make no mistake, Prince William is already ruling in practice. The people are looking at him, foreign leaders are engaging with him, and royal watchers see a clear shift in where the power now lives. So what does all of this mean for the future of the monarchy, and will King Charles ever return to full power? That remains uncertain. The palace is being cautious, offering only limited updates. But one thing is clear, the system is already adapting and William is at the center of it all. The crown may still sit on King Charles's head, but the weight of the monarchy has already shifted. A son now carries the burden and the future of Britain may lie in his hands. What do you guys think about Prince William stepping into power? Is this a betrayal or destiny fulfilled? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more royal updates.